Yeah, that's what happens.
Making it happen. We got to rub sticks together to make this webinar happen today.
Whatever.
But I got tons of coffee, though.
Oh,
I got
4.2
cups of
mute
coffee.
that tab. Okay,
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah, that's like X marks the spot, bro.
X marks the spot.
You know what? One of the segments I forgot to do today in my show, and I had it lined up. It's an amateur move on my part. I was going to show Jason's video of his desk setup, and then my disaster of a desk, and then Ms. Meliz and Jen Nelson. Because we did something yesterday. It was kind of fun for Let's Live Stream. We just started. We post your messy desk. Post your messy desk.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I don't think I participated. I'm getting feedback off of you, buddy.
You're getting feedback from me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably. I just need to turn my
mute yourself and mute yourself back on. Or come on. What is this, amateur hour with you today?
I know, right? There we go.
Happy Friday, everyone.
Happening is that the Facebook feed, the video feed keeps stopping today for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay, so since we're going to bash Facebook because, Instagram is the devil. So yesterday for leavin 5 for the page, Stephen Healy said, hey, would you want to come on Thursday and we'll talk about list building? I was like, sure. So I actually did a little bit behind the scenes, and we were going to do it through Webinar Jam, which is what we're doing today.
Okay.
So I know that first video that was playing up for you talking about Skype and all this stuff, I'm not using Ecamm today. So anyway, I couldn't get the video to play at the beginning. I think I was having issues with that. I figured out what I did with that. It was kind of stupid. And, so we go in and we start talking, and we're about 3 minutes of Tina, Steven, and myself live. And all of a sudden, the broadcast just cut out the Facebook. And on Facebook, the only thing you could see is, if you've ever seen it because you use the Chrome browser, is the snap. Something doesn't work. Like right. Someone was screen sharing.
Right.
Nobody was screen sharing. Nothing. I have never seen that.
Was there audio that was happening in the background?
No, there was no audio. And we were still live in Webinar Jam. Tina, Steven, and I were all live, and everything was going on and all that. But nothing. Could see the comments rolling in.
Real quick, would you share out how people can come into this broadcast if they so desire?
What you need to do is message me your email address, and I will send over I will have a link, a personalized link, a specialized link, only for you link.
Only for you link.
You can use
how you doing?
Hop into the broadcast. So there you go. Thanks a lot I saw Alfredo's. So Tish, welcome. Alfredo, welcome. Ryan Perez, welcome. I saw that you were watching one of my videos earlier, and liked on it and commented. Jenny, Coach Jenny, welcome.
Jenny.
And share this out, peeps. So let me talk about the format of the show and everything. Today's episode 15. Why is it episode 15 and not 20-something or all that type of stuff? Well, because it's time to stop being a little silly. Terry Johnson wants to come in. So I tell you what, everything I'm going to do, I'm going to go through some stuff, and this is going to be new to John, so I'm going to put him on the spot. He knows a couple of the stories that'll probably poop out of someplace.
This is an awful week. I have a feeling this is going to be an amazing episode.
But some of these other stories are just quick things. So the other thing we're going to do is it's going to be more of a dedicated kind of type deal, then more wing it and roll with it, and then at the end, and let's see how it goes. Turn it into an actual thing. Let's see if we can get some opinions and stuff like that. Or maybe I'll decide to send people a link and they can come in and online.
Yeah, why don't we can do that? Maybe a little bit of that too, but
yeah, I can do that too. So I got a message from one person. I'll go ahead and have their link sent out, and then we're gonna move on.
Okay.
To the first thing that I've got. So what I've done is I've picked up some various different articles that peruse the interwebs. Maybe recently, maybe not so recently. These women entrepreneurs created a fake male co-founder to dodge startup sexism. Story goes, when Penelope Gazin and Kate Dwyer decided to start their own online marketplace for weird art, they didn't expect it to be easy. After all, the LA-based duo of artists were bootstrapping the project with a few $1,000s of their own money and minimal tech skills. But it wasn't just a tight budget that added friction to the slow crawl toward launching. The pair also faced their share of doubt from outsiders, spanning from the condescending to the outright sexist. In today's world? Really?
I thought we were over this.
When we were getting started, we were immediately faced with, are you sure? Does this sound like a good idea? Says Dwyer. I think because we're young women, a lot of people looked at what we were doing like, what a cute hobby, or that's a cute idea. Regardless of the concept, the concept seems to be paying off. Witchsy, Witchsy, Witchsy. I get like Etsy, maybe Witchsy. That's how I'm saying it. The alternative, a curated marketplace for bizarre, culturally aware, and dark-humored art, celebrated its 1-year anniversary this past summer. The site, born out of frustration with the excessive clutter and limitations of bigger creative marketplaces like Etsy, peddles enamel pins, shirts, zines, art prints, handmade crafts, blah, blah, blah. Witchsy eschews the live, laugh, love vibe of knickknacks commonly found on sites like Etsy in favor of art that is once darkly, I can't even say that word, nihilistic, and lightheartedly funny. In its first year, Witchsy has sold about $200,000 worth of this art, paying its creators 80% of each transaction, managing in turn what Dwyer says is a small profit. Earlier this year, they received a small investment from Rick and Morty co-founder. I don't know if I need to be naming these people out. Witchsy exclusive project. Gazin and Dwyer aren't gunning for massive scale, but rather. So let's get on to what they did. That's a little bit further down. But along the way, Gazin and Dwyer had come up with a clever way to overcome some of the more unexpected obstacles they faced. And then again, this is young and sexist and all that type of stuff. Some hurdles were overt. Early on, a web developer they brought on to help build the site tried to stealthily delete everything after Gazin declined to go on a date with them. Oh. But most of the obstacles were much more subtle. After settling out to build Witchsy, it didn't take long for them to notice a pattern. In many cases, the outside developers and graphic designers they enlisted to help often took a condescending tone over email. These collaborators, who were almost always male, were often short, slow to respond, and vaguely disrespectful in correspondence. In response to one request, the developer started an email with the words, "Okay, girls." That's when Gazin and Dwyer introduced a third co-founder, Keith Mann, an aptly named fictional character who could communicate with outsiders over email. It was like night and day, says Dwyer. It would take me days to get a response, but Keith could not only get a response and a status update, but also be asked if he wanted anything else or if there was anything else that Keith needed help with. Dwyer and Gavin continued to deploy Keith regularly when interacting with outsiders and found that the change in tone wasn't just an anomaly. In exchange after exchange, the perceived involvement of a man seemed to have an effect on people's assumptions about Witchsy and colored how they interacted with the budding business. One developer in particular seemed to show more difference to Keith than he did to Dwyer or Gazin, right down to the basics of human interaction. Whenever he spoke to Keith, he always addressed Keith by name, says Gazin. Whenever he spoke to us, he never used our names. So this article goes on, and this is out of Fast Company. You can go search for Fast Company girls, women entrepreneurs, fake co-founder, and you can certainly find that. But Jonathan, any thoughts towards that?
Yeah, it's a load of bullcrap.
It's a load of bullcrap.
That's my comment. Being shoulder to shoulder with you, this is a new experience for me. But yeah, no, but you know what? I think I would like to be naive enough to say that, you know what, men experience this too. You know, and if you guys know me, I'm not being very serious right in the moment. No, but I think it's a prime example of perceived, of if you see one name over another, you're going to take one name more seriously because you expect that person to be something. I mean, it maybe the another underlying thing is you don't actually know. Jenny, to be very clear, it's a little bullcrap because it shouldn't be happening, not because I think the news is fake. Just to be very clear. No, but it's a load of bullcrap. That kind of stuff shouldn't be happening. Just because it has a guy name on it, that it should be taken way more seriously. I guess that's the problem that I really have. I mean, I don't.
So from some of the women that are watching, and Terry, what you need to do is up at the top, there are some icons. You need to click on the icon for the webcam and the icon for the microphone, and we can see and hear you. Look at that.
Hey. And the microphone.
Don't tell me that Terry doesn't know how to do her tech.
And the microphone. I don't have any.
Oh, we hear. She's laughing. Good morning, Terry.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
I can hear you. This is great, Terry.
Can you hear us?
Hello, guys.
I love your hair, Terry. I don't know if I've ever told you this before. I love your hair.
Thank you.
Always fun. Makes me smile.
So, guys, what's up? Listen, I have something to say about the story.
Good.
Okay, well, go right ahead.
Do you remember the movie with Whoopi Goldberg called The Associate? It came out a while ago. She was a financial investor. She worked for a financial firm in Wall Street, and she was the smart person there, but no one listened to her. And there was another guy who was like a smart alecky guy, but wasn't as smart as she was, and he got all the attention. And he got the clients, and she got upset, and somehow she left the firm, and she created her own investment firm, but she made a fake person, a white guy, and she had to dress up like the guy. Do you remember? And she dressed him up, looked like.
I vaguely remember that Whoopi Goldberg. The only real Whoopi Goldberg movie that always pops out is Jumpin' Jack Flash.
It was 1996.
See, Jumpin' Jack Flash was older.
I'm looking it up right now, just to be really.
So I mean, when you were telling us this story, that immediately jumped into my mind when the women made the fake personas because they felt invisible. Yeah. So she felt invisible, being this, intelligent investment analyst, and no one was taking her seriously, and the other guy was stealing her ideas in the meetings and stuff. Jenny says she knows that movie.
Yep.
Brian says he loves that. Mr. Cuddy, that's it. Mr. Cuddy. It was Cuddy Investments, and she was going around to the meetings as Whoopi and saying, "I'm Mr. Cuddy's associate," because she would show up to the meet. She would set the meetings as Mr. Cuddy, and then she would go to the meetings, and they were like, "Well, where's Mr. Cuddy? Because you're not Mr. Cuddy." She's like, "Well, I'm the associate," blah blah blah, and she would start talking with the information. And they would, stay in the meeting because she had the knowledge. So they kind of forgot about Mr. Cuddy. But it got to the point at the end of the movie that she had to present Mr. Cuddy because she was making these people all this money, and they wanted to meet Mr. Cuddy, not Whoopi. So at the end,
I'm kind of glad that you've jumped on, because with this article, and Jonathan and I both being of the male persuasion, at least I am. It's kind of hard to speak on
women issues.
Well, it's not. See, if you look at it deeper,
a woman's voice,
a woman's voice, and a woman's perspective. So this article is definitely about that, and I don't want to take away from that. But I mean, it's not just sexism. There's ageism. There's racism. I guess is one way to put it, where you view
all the isms.
Yeah, all the isms that are out there. So, Terry, have you ever experienced isms?
A good question. I'm trying to remember, because honestly, I'm going to tell you the truth that I look at tech as with two eyes. I see what they're talking about, but I also see the guy's point of it. It's just two sides. And I'm trying to think if I've ever been. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Only because I'm like a matter of fact kind of like, okay, this is it, blah blah blah. Let's move on. Never. I don't know. I don't think so. That's a good question. You got me thinking today.
And I'm trying to think of if it's ever, if I not sexism, but I guess I tried to apply for a job at Hooters once and they declined. I don't know why. I certainly had to
put me down as a reference. That's why.
But ageism, I'm sure that I encountered it. I think as I was thinking about this article and I was thinking about, people experiencing it and how they adapt to it, I think we become numb to it ourselves at some point. It really affects us in the beginning, but maybe we don't even realize that's what it was. And then we re-encounter it so often.
Right.
And I'm not saying daily or it could be daily or monthly or whatever, but you just become numb to it, and then it becomes acceptable and it becomes okay.
It kind of fades in the background. That's why I said I had to think of any kind of situation, and I'm thinking
because I'm sure really. as a woman, as a black woman, as a young black woman, I mean, I'm sure a combination has hit you at some point, and you just were numb to it.
That's what I'm saying. When you said that, it made me think because I've done private industry stuff with advertising. I've spoken about that, but I never had any kind of problem there. And then I worked government side, and there's really no issue there because the government is on top of any kind of rules and regulations as far as employment, anything to do with the government. You're in a government agency, federal agency, there's no leeway for that. So it never happened there. So I had to think back to working for the advertising agencies. No. I guess maybe I just had great places to work. Okay. I mean, a couple people, but the situation itself was great. Mm-hmm. I guess I was lucky. I don't know. I mean,
and I think that's really a good way to put it. Is that I think you are lucky in those regards. That you haven't had to deal with it, like this story article where they weren't getting anywhere or like there was like minimal growth, but as soon as they entered the guy's name in there, and I mean, so this is part of the problem, right?
And I'm not going to say that it doesn't exist. I'm just saying for me, I've never,
for you,
and I don't think I know of any person who's been in that situation. Now, I've been in situations where I've talked to coworkers where they had interactions with their boss, but that was work related. There was never no ism. There was never an ism in there. It was
part of the problem, I think, is taking one case out. Like for instance, we could take this article and make this the case study and say, well, see, there's rampant sexism everywhere, right? Okay, just now hear me out. Now, at the same time, I could ignore the article and I could take your experience, Terry, and say, see, there is no sexism in the industry at all.
Right.
And I don't think neither one of them is factually fair. I think what your experience says in your experience, and it's just that in your experience, you haven't seen any. But in as being factual, this article provides an example of it. Now, I think, to be honest, I think there's a lot more that happens than is said. And by a lot, I mean a lot more that has happened.
I'm sure it does.
That it has been accepted as, well, this is just par for the course. Well, I'm a woman, so I'm not really accepted in tech. I think that sentiment by the vast and upcoming majority do not accept that as fact. I think if I looked at everybody who's watching this right now live on Facebook, I don't think any one of them would accept that as, well, you're a woman, so I don't really think that tech is for you. I don't think one person on there would be like, oh, yeah, I think that's fair. Every single one of them adamantly rejects it, including David and myself. I don't think we look at it as true. But this is what we are fighting in old guard. And that's why, honestly, that's one of the reasons why I love it when Jen does her stream show.
Okay, and so I've got a bunch of stories that I want to get to, and they're not all part of this. So I'm going to wrap this particular segment of this. But let me say one thing to what.
Thing. Okay, just one thing. Most of my mentors in tech were women, like majority. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Like mostly women over men. So
it very well could. But with Jonathan's comment about the old guard,
yeah,
and everything, I have to disagree with that, because what's happening is the ageism that I'm encountering, and I think a lot of people that are not between the 19 to 36-ish, the millennials, the 21-year-old life coaches and everything that are out there, now all of a sudden it's like, well, this person doesn't know what they're talking about. I don't need to listen to them because they're old. So it's just getting, or I don't need to listen to him because he's a guy.
Right.
It's all getting reversed back. It's not an old guard. It's simply isms. And I don't think isms will ever disappear. They've probably been around forever. Adam and Eve probably both had isms. And from that point,
we'll chalk it up to isms, then we'll move on to your next story.
So the next story that I got, and I'm going to do a little bit of, you may have heard of this one, you may have not have heard this. This one actually came out, I believe, this week. Yep, October 26th. So that was yesterday, right?
That would have been yesterday's.
Yeah.
Or at least the article that I'm going to read. Novelist Saladin Ahmed was looking at the back of a Corn Pops cereal box when he noticed a small but jarring detail. And I've got illustrations.
You have a graphic for this, David?
I do. Oh. The colorful illustration, in fact, let me see if I can go ahead and bring that up right here. All right, so I'm going to share this.
That's my reaction as a parent.
Okay, so the colorful illustration on the box depicted a chaotic scene of little yellow corn pop characters frolicking through a shopping mall.
Okay.
Yeah, so, whoever did this was definitely old, because shopping malls are not full of frolicking people anymore. Just ask Macy's and Sears. But in the middle of the drawing, Ahmed spotted a lone, non-yellow corn pop. The character looked as if it had brown skin. Let me see if I can pull up the next.
Right down near the bottom middle.
Just in case you want to see it a little bit closer up, there you go. Brown skin also happened to be the only corn pop in all blue and appeared to be waxing or scrubbing the mall's floors. On Wednesday morning, Ahmed tweeted to Kellogg's, "Why is literally the only brown corn pop on the whole cereal box the janitor?" It's a tiny thing, he added, but when you see your kids staring at this over the breakfast and realize millions of other kids are doing the same, within 5 hours, Kellogg's responded. "The artwork has been updated and will be in stores soon," the company tweeted. Now, I happened to go to the store last night, and it wasn't to go look for this, but I found myself eventually on the cereal aisle picking up some Special K with red berries. And so I went to go look and see if I could find the box. Sure enough, it was there. Within 5 hours, so Kellogg's is committed to diversity and inclusion, the tweet read. "We did not intend to offend. We apologize." Ahmed responded, "Genuinely appreciate the rapid response." That is a hugely rapid response for a large corporation like that to pick out that one particular tweet. So bravo, Kellogg's. You did really, really well.
They got
USA Today. In a statement to USA Today, the company said it respects all people. "We take feedback very seriously, and it was never our intention to offend anyone." Spokesman for one of the spokesmen told USA Today, "We apologize sincerely." The Corn Pops debacle drew outrage of all sorts on Twitter. Some of it directed at the cereal company, and some directed at Ahmed. And Java wants to update, go away. So, Corn Pops, like seemingly everything else these days, began a political debate. "We are living in a time where people are accusing cereal of being racist," one tweet read. "My son woke up in the middle of the night and asked me, 'Will the Corn Pops be okay?'" read another. I didn't have an answer. Ahmed's tweets prompted all sorts of other Corn Pops related questions and controversies. "Do Corn Pops have a race?" someone asked. One person suggested the character was simply wearing a hat. It's casting a shadow on his face, giving the appearance of darker complexion, the tweet read. I mean, people really went into all this.
Oh, my gosh. We're this close from the Amazon review of the Hutzler 571 banana slicer. Okay? And this is my take, right? I really don't think the Kellogg's Corporation is purposefully targeting anybody. I think it was a really smart business move for them just to respond and say, you know what, we don't intend to offend anybody. And if this little thing, and I mean little as in it's a very easy fix. They go into the artwork and change the shading, the color shading of that one particular thing. Like that's what I mean. But when I say that one easy fix, and you know what, it avoids the offense, and we can all move on. And it doesn't need to be a great big huge racism argument over a fictitious a corn pop or corn puff thing. Am I reading it wrong? Am I missing something? Am I being
issues? There are bigger issues than this cereal box. I mean, and there's people that look at this little thing because I would have never noticed it. But look, where did it come from? The graphics department who designed the product development, graphics department. Oh, we need an image of corn pops that are, and who decided to make the one person? Was it a personal thing or was it a directive? It wasn't a directive. Could have been that graphic artist that did that as a jokey joke or I don't know.
And all that and the purpose of this particular article, and I'm getting feedback off of somebody. It may be Terry with no headset or I don't know. It could be Jonathan. All you got to do is mute your mic and come back on. A lot of times that'll fix it up. Here's this. So one, and if I'm mistaken, then forgive me. Ahmed, I believe, is a graphic artist and is currently working on maybe Black Panther or something of that nature. So he's evidently got an eye for detail in art.
Right.
Because I would have never looked at this box and singled that out. But, I guess if I was staring at it and going through the little frolicking nimbos. But I think the point is he saw this and he took to Twitter and called out Kellogg's and said, what the hey? I'm sure he was never expecting any response whatsoever. You don't hear about him saying, I'm never buying anything by the Kellogg's Corporation again. And that's a really large corporation. Trust me, they make things that you don't think that they make. Right. All this type of stuff. He didn't do that. He just, all we heard about was this. And then Kellogg's replied. And not only did they reply back saying, ooh, sorry, that wasn't what it was. It was, we've taken action. We've changed it. It'll be updated and in the stores soon. I mean, they can't do it overnight or anything like that. And it was done. And the guy was like, cool. I appreciate the fast response. And that was it. And then everybody else in the world decides to jump on the bandwagon and get their little, 5 seconds of Twitter fame. What in the world is, I thought that Ahmed used Twitter correctly. I thought Kellogg's used Twitter correctly. There was no marketing BS behind it. There was nothing about, sorry about that. Here's a coupon. Go buy something else from us. This is a great new product. It was a conversation that took place. And God bless, that's what social media is actually for. It is the ability to give a brand and its customers or whoever, maybe non-customers, the ability to engage and interact with them in a conversation. And that's exactly what happened. And then everybody else blew it up.
Perfectly. This is the way it's supposed to work. A company has a Twitter account. A consumer or someone out in Twitter land has a Twitter feed and they go, this is interesting. I noticed XYZ. Let me tag Kellogg's and see if, to bring awareness to them if they know or not. So the company has a great social media team because they're listening and they jump right on it because it's something that needed to be attacked. Well, not attacked, but mentioned and say, this is not our intent. We're very sorry. We're fixing it. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. The story gets folded up neatly by goodbye and we move on to the next thing because it's not that big of a deal. I mean, okay, great. We see that. It shouldn't have been done, but they're bigger issues.
And by the way, Ryan, I sent you and Coach Jenny, I sent you both invites. And Coach Jenny, I know it's probably not going to work. I saw your comment, and I know you wanted to chime in earlier.
Can Ryan come on? He's a graphic designer.
It's been sent to him.
Okay.
He just needs to look in his email and go through the process of working to come on. So I did see it. Jonathan, do you have anything? Because I do have more stories to come. You got anything you want to weigh in on? We can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I'm muted it because I was moving my thing around here.
We appreciate that.
Do I have comment on this topic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I think there's a couple levels to this, right? I think it'd be really hard to say that Kellogg purposefully made this image in order to subversively insult whatever not majority color kernel that it was representing. I'm going to say it like that because there's yellow and then light brown. Like those are the two colors represented.
Well, even if it was, I mean, so it slipped by absolutely everybody. If you go look at the box, I mean, if you look at that first image, let me see if I can pull that first image back up. All right. Nope, not that. This. So here's the image itself. Okay. Now, and this is a close-up of the box. I actually went to go look at the box. It's not that huge. So, whoever took the picture blew it up a little bit, but still. Even if they did, Kellogg's responded. They responded appropriately, and took the best action that they could take. And this is my point: is saying that it's not just like there was on the one hand there was there was perceived wrong by somebody. They brought it to attention, and the company responded. Like on the business level, I think Kellogg responded appropriately. I think they took the right actions. In that, like, this isn't that picture, that icon picture, and that color is not like hurting somebody right in the moment. Like it's like there was poison or there was like broken glass in the in the box of cereal, and has immediate imminent danger for. Like we're not talking about that. They're like, you know what? That's something we can change. We can do something about it. This is what we did, and it's being implemented. I think they acted in equal response. I don't think their intent was to hurt, but that also at the same time, sometimes that doesn't mean that like it's okay. Well, you know what? I didn't mean to be insulting to Terry today. I didn't mean to offend David in something I said, but guess what? If I did, I need to own up to it, and I need to, offer apologies or make reparations depending on what it was, right? What I find to be interesting is that it is the only color. If Kellogg is really going for a equally diverse, then they should all be the same color, or there should be an equal mix through. That's how I would take it. To be honest, that's how I took it. Why is there only one, and why isn't there like, if there's like 30 of these kernel people on there, why aren't they all like 30 different colors? I don't know. Right. And we don't know in the back channels, what's going on at the Kellogg Corporation. Was the entire art department for this just let go? All this type of stuff. There's a whole lot of stuff, honestly, has nothing to do with me. I feel that it was taken care of appropriately. Apparently the person who called it out felt it was appropriately handled. And it's done and it's over with, and bada book, bada boom, it's gone. Ryan, I see that you've joined us. What you need to do, Sport, is up at the top. You'll see icons. There's a webcam icon and there you go, and a microphone icon, and you need to tap on both, and that will get you. We do see your picture, but we can't hear you at the moment.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep. And we can hear you. Welcome, Ryan. Thanks a lot for joining in and getting us off of the horrible 3-person layout and into a beautiful, more HD looking,
much better
4-person layout. Yeah, I have no control over it, the webinar jam, but that's okay. This product works and it's great. Thanks, Mia Voss. Everybody, on a different note, everyone looks amazing in this broadcast. Live stream goals.
I need a tiara to honor Mia. I need a tiara.
Ryan, do you want to weigh in on this and offer any of your perspective? Because I am going to move on here in just a moment.
Yeah, I won't. I think Kellogg's handled the situation correctly because they know better. They know, what their end goals are. So to see something like that, they have to respond. But my comment is that I grew up, in a world where, you know, I was consumed by, you know, cereal boxes and not seeing proper representation, you know, that, you know, like, I mean, I grew up in the 80s and in the early 90s, and I would just constantly see, you would rarely see someone of color on commercials, on cereal boxes, and if they were, you know, they were doing something, they were, you know, the help or what have you. So, you know, I'm pretty sensitive to the issue because it's been my life all the time. You know, it always, like, it's not that, like, a lot of people, when things like this happen and people get sensitive about it, we first look for the deliberate meaning behind it. We're like, okay, this was deliberate. We're trying to find whether or not they intended to be racist. And that's not why I'm sensitive about it or, you know, angry about the situation. It was the fact that there was no thought that went into it. Mm-hmm. You know, because that's what normally happens with when it comes to racist or racism issues, is that, you know, a lot of people are just not educated about discrimination, racism in general. So when they put stuff out there, they don't have it in their mind that they're doing anything wrong. They're just doing it, but they don't realize that it's hurting other people, right? And Black people, especially, or brown people, we have a long history of this stuff, and we know our history very well. There's a lot of racism is not being talked about in white homes, because a lot of people are like, well, I don't see color and I don't want to talk about it. So that conversation never happens in a lot of people's homes. So when things come up like this, people are like, oh my God, it's just a brown character. It's not, we shouldn't worry about it. It's just a cereal box. But it depends on the audience. It depends on who you're talking to. So I think that I just wish that people will be more mindful when they're putting stuff like that out. I'm a graphic designer. I have to be very cautious about including women, including, you know, just, you know, depending on the medium, you know, I have to be very selective. So for something like that to go out through a major corporation and not being vetted, right? I kind of wonder about that.
Right. That was my point, and that's why I wanted you to come on, because if you've got any kind of background, graphics or graphic designer, you know that when the proofs are made, there's a process, especially in advertising, there's a process of approval. So it had to go through that chain of command of nobody caught that. Why? Because that's where it originated, with the graphics department, and it went all the way through production with no one checking it.
Right. And I'll add this, is that racism is so deep rooted. I went to Guyana to visit my father in 2015, and there was every store, and Guyana is it's filled with either East Indian or Black people. That's it. You don't see white people anywhere. Now, when you go into the stores I wanted to buy my brothers and sisters some toys. There was not one toy of a Black child. Every toy was a blonde toy. Like any doll, like for my sister, was a blonde doll. You know, and when I asked, do you guys have any, you know, diverse, dolls, etc.? Like, no, this is what the children want. So we don't realize how deeply rooted racism is and how it affects people, even Black people. Even someone would look at that and be like, oh no, I'm okay with that. Like in Guyana, they probably would be okay with that box. They wouldn't really look at it the way that I would look at it, because I have history, I have understanding, I have education, you know, whereas someone looking at it that's not really having those conversations wouldn't see much of a big deal on it. So it's not just one group versus the other. It's like everyone's conditioned to a certain degree, you know, of they're conditioned to accept the majority as the norm, and they're okay being the person that's moving the whatever that thing was, like the vacuum or whatever. Like in Guyana, people would be okay with that image.
All right, I am going to give a 15-second final thought countdown to each person that wants to weigh in on it just a little bit more so we can move on to the next one. Ryan, I do appreciate it, and I agree with everything. In fact, you said a couple things, and I was like, oh, I could sit there and talk for hours about that, especially the I don't see color thing. But I'm not getting into that, and I don't want that to end that out.
We already did a show on that, actually, David.
Yeah. So, Ryan, since we're on you, I'm going to give you your final 15 seconds on it, and then I'll move to Terry and Jonathan, and then we're going to move on to the next story.
My final 15 seconds is I don't know. I don't have a 15 seconds. I think.
And I'm not keeping you off camera. I was just on this one particular topic. So.
Oh no. I mean, I don't really have nothing else to say. I think I said what I said.
He's saying that he said what he said.
Yep. Yeah. I got you. Terry, how about you? 15 seconds.
I'm going to say from a corporate standpoint that there should have been checks and balances for this, because we're in an age where there's awareness of this, and like I said, it's a minor point, but it's a major point. And it got to the point where it had to go through channels, and it was unvetted. So like Ryan said, there has to be awareness of, let's go back to the starting point and say that shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. If everything's yellow, be yellow.
Agreed. Jonathan, 15 seconds. Okay, moving on. No.
Here's the great point is that I don't think any one of us here are trying to be too old school and saying there's no problems here.
Right.
I think what's interesting is that the way that Ryan takes it is different than the way that I perceive it in a very personal way, because I'm not offended by it, but I do see wrong in it. And that doesn't mean that Ryan is wrong in feeling the way he does. And I think that's one of the most important parts that we have to really glean from this kind of a conversation, not from what's the actual color shade of that corn pop, but how are we going to react to it now that it's happened?
Agreed. And my final 15-second thought on this is that I can agree with all the comments that were made for the most part. But it shows the issue. It shows the big difference between small business and large corporation. And this depicts what happens all the time in large corporations, and you can experience it daily. All you have to do is go to your local large conglomerate without being named outright, Walmart store, Target. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do, Kmart, Sears. It falls down to it's not my department type deal. I don't have to pay attention to it, and there's always flaws in that chain. So maybe something gets fixed where this never happens again in that type of situation. Maybe another company that's a large corporation will take up and say, "Hey, listen, we saw this happen here. We need to make sure it doesn't happen there."
Right.
Either way, moving on from there, we're going to touch on a different type of subject. We got a couple different stories in this one. This one's really not a story; it's more of a website, and I'm going to provide all the links in the description of this video. And by the way, if you're watching the replay, thank you very much. And if you're listening to the audio that is eventually maybe going to get put out there, then you can come find us at davidvaughan.tv or fblive.davidvaughan.live. All you have to do is search for the hashtag Asschat podcast. This comes from, how many times have you wondered, to my panel real quick, is there anybody here, show of hands, who has purchased anything from Amazon? Yeah, we all have. In fact, I bet everybody in the audience has, and if not Amazon, then something else online. Well, has been something that you were unsure about, and so one of the areas that you went to get a little bit more of a secure feeling about your purchase and maybe making that purchase on that particular item that you were looking at was some of the reviews. And some of them sometimes maybe just seemed a little too good or maybe too bad. Maybe it was like, oh my gosh, you're really bashing the ever-living mess out of whatever this is. Jonathan can name the product. And it's funny that you had brought that up because I've got so this was not planned. I did not. Anyway, there is a spot. There's a site. It's called Fake Spot. And what they do is they say tired of fake reviews. And the About Us on the company is basically talking about How it works: growing suspicious of online reviews, so were we. FakeSpot provides consumers with a new way of filtering product reviews to find out what real users are saying about the products you want to buy. Our proprietary technology analyzes millions of product reviews, looking for suspicious patterns and incentivized reviews. Wait, you mean people purchase reviews? So this is, kind of like this is our fake news. This is our fake reviews.
Fake news, fake followers, everything.
They say we then weed out the reviews we think are unreliable. Don't take our word for it. You be the judge. Now, if you go on the first page, and so this might do well if Coach Jenny is still watching. A friend of mine actually took one of their books. I think they've done 11. They took one of their books and they put it in. They actually got a score of F. Because some of the reviews on the book were suspicious. Now, I can guarantee that this person has not ever purchased one review, incentivized anybody to make a review, said, hey, here's my book, go on Amazon and give it a review, anything like that. That is not who this person is. And if you knew who I was talking about, and you were aware of this person, you would certainly say, yeah, right, that they would never do that. But apparently they've done 795,830, 480 Amazon reviews analyzed. I'm sorry, that must be million. That's million.
Oh, okay.
795,830,480 Amazon reviews analyzed. 5,711,840 Yelp reviews. 175 TripAdvisor. 131,000 Apple App Store reviews. That's all good stuff. So total together, 801 million. They are close to doing 1 billion reviews, according to them. Maybe somebody needs to review this site. And then down at the bottom, they've got stuff like Business Insider. All you have to do is paste a link. FakeSpot will then analyze. CNBC's story is saying the same thing. In a world of online stuff where you can't touch and feel and see how cheap it is, or, my gosh, that doesn't look anything like the picture, is this a good thing, guys?
Is it a good thing that they're verifying reviews?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing. Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just the devil's advocate in this, but how do I know that they're actually not getting paid to certify that somebody's reviews are legit?
Good point.
You were not the only devil's advocate on that. When I saw this, I was like, well,
good point.
What's to say that I don't sit there and have a product and give you a little money on the side saying, hey, give me a better score?
If you have a pro account, you just go to the head of the line that will just
VIP line.
I'm just saying, hey guys, it's only like $5.99 a month. I'm telling you, just only $5.99 a month. You just send it to my PayPal. I'll just make sure that we expedite your review process.
If you send me $19.99 a month, I guarantee I will tag every one of your Instagram posts with Instagram is the devil, the hashtag. I guarantee it. If you want that branding.
Oh my God.
And for $29.99, I'll do yours first. That's right. I think Ryan, you've been kind of quiet on this. So what about you? Is it a good thing?
I shop. My ex, got my car totaled, so I had no vehicle for until recent. For the whole summer, I stayed at home and I just ordered. I was like, I don't need to buy a vehicle. I'm going to order through Amazon. So I had stuff coming every day. Bought cameras, bought this, bought that, and it was amazing. And I'm really good at ciphering. I'm being able to cipher through a lot of the negative, or not the negative, but I'm able to kind of see what is real from what is fake, because I just look for the outlier. I look for something that is just like, I look for either a really positive view or I look for the really negative. Right. And I kind of, I wish that there was something that could, I'm not looking for another party to say, well, this was fake, because you'll never know. I'm a developer as well, right? So people will find smarter ways of writing reviews. So I don't think we'll ever be able to catch whether something's a fake review or not. But I wish that there's a feature where we can just kind of sort through the reviews, you know what I mean? And being able to read them all, because you never know. Because I still don't know whether I can tell when something looks a little bit.
Well, this is the cure for that. Now all of a sudden I'm going to turn Amazon into Facebook, right? Can I sort the review comments through my friends and people on my friends list? Because look, if Joe Schmo writing a review on something versus Ryan Perez writing on a review, I'm gonna look at it because I know Ryan. Like, I know his preferences, and he may be like, this product sucks, but I also know he doesn't like, I don't know, like he doesn't like any Mac products, right? Or so he's going to say that. But so when I read his review, I know him. I know his personality, but I'm also a lot more likely to say, look, if he tells me this product sucks, I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to be like, yeah, I don't want to buy this one. As opposed to, even if there's like 500 really great reviews, Ryan says, no, guys, trust me, this thing sucks. I'm probably going to be actually more like, yeah, I don't trust those 500 other reviews. I'm going to trust Ryan's review. So if they can sort that out by friends or by some kind of relationship, right?
Right.
I think that's a great idea. And I was just going to say quickly that what if they put YouTube videos of people testing out the products as well? Put a feed of, because that's what I do. I look at the comments, I look at other people's websites, I look at YouTube, and then I make an informed decision, because I don't trust the website itself. I need multiple, sources of information in order for me to decide whether I'm going to buy the product. So, I mean, like
one particular person. So I know we've all purchased books from bookstores, and one of the things a lot of people do is on the book jackets of the book, you look at the back and you read the book reviews. Now these are, you got to think about this. The book reviews are on the jacket of the book before the book's ever been given out to the public. Most book reviews are purchased, and that's not to offend any authors that are out there. One particular author, though, the first book that he wrote, on the back, so his book reviews, he did them all, and they were all. If you read them, you would instantly know that it was meant for humor. I mean, one of them was, "This is a fake review." That type of that's what it was. This book, one of the comments, one of the reviews on it was, "This book has a lot of words." Now, this person was also the particular person that did a review on their book at the site. And when they were looking at the breakdown of the scoring of their thing, they said, one of the problems is that a lot of the reviews that are provided for this product use the word book. It was a book. People are going to say book. So you kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt, I think, is the way to you can't, in today's age of Wikipedia, remember, anybody can go in and edit. Anybody can go in and say anything that they want. And you do have to look at the overall. I think Ryan's got a good approach to it, and I think Terry's probably got the same approach. And Jonathan, well,
I'm an idiot.
Holly does all the shopping there. So
she does. I don't even. I'm not even a consult. Not even. There's reasons for that.
Now, with that being said, and with the previous story of the way that Kellogg's approached one of their reviews, that's essentially what it was. It was a review of the product. A particular spin studio is terrorizing anyone who gives them a negative Yelp review. If you're looking to strap into an exercise bike and get yelled at by an instructor for 45 minutes straight, there's no shortage of spinning studios in New York City where you can find what you're looking for. SoulCycle, Flywheel, Peloton to start. For a while, there was even an IMAX spin studio in Dumbo. I have no idea where the heck that is. But it's since closed down and been replaced with a new establishment called Rhythm Ride. Ride is spelled with a Y. The studio bills itself as an all-encompassing community that offers several avenues for community fitness and mind-body synergy, so that you can lose yourself and be able to center your mind in order to take on the outside world. But as a tipster pointed out to The Cut, which is where this article's at, there's something curious going on with Rhythm Ride, with a Y. Beyond the fact that they spell ride with a Y. See, even they sat there and did it before I even got to it. For this, we turn to their Yelp page, the crowdsourced review site that always serves as a reliable breeding ground for drama. Again, take into account what we all just spoke about reliability and reviews online. Where our tipster says they've been terrorizing anyone who leaves a negative review. In order to establish itself in the neighborhood, Rhythm Ride has been offering free classes. This is a fine and good business practice. What is not a fine and good business practice, however, is everything that follows. Take, for instance, a Yelp user named Christina L., who left them a 1-star review on July 25th. In it, she says she's a frequent spinner and was disappointed by what she found was a late-running and disorganized experience. On July 30th, she posted a screen grab of what she says is a private message from Rhythm Ride addressed to Miss supposedly frequent spinner, in which the company decided to review her. Some of their notes include, "You are not on beat nor the correct foot. Let's not begin on your form. You seem to be used to not working out correctly, and I can assure you, you're not a frequent spinner." And there is a screen grab of this. They also replied to her publicly the following day with a slightly softer comment that read, in part, maybe a bit less disparaging to someone that offers you a free class.
So
and,
did they just like roast her like Wendy's Twitter roasts people? Like, is that what happened, or was this like a legit like?
No, this is apparently an ongoing thing with this particular. According to whoever was the tipster, it's an ongoing thing with this particular space. They're going to come after you if you leave a crappy review.
Are you guys able to hear David? It sounds like.
Can you not hear me?
I can't hear. I don't know what the late. Yeah, I can't. I don't know what her name is.
Terry.
Terry.
Can you hear me now?
Terry.
We can't hear Terry. Can you hear me now? Can you hear now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I think
Okay.
Ryan's saying he can't hear Terry, and I can't hear you.
Okay.
Terry's on mute. Is she on mute?
Okay.
To you?
That's fine.
No. Terry, you may need to refresh. If you just refresh it, it should let you back in. On July 30th, so you can hear me all okay?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay. On July 30th, another user named Charisma D left a 1-star review saying that she hadn't taken a class but did not appreciate receiving emails from a list she had not subscribed to. She also said she was repulsed by Rhythm Ride with a Y. Response to Christina L. Rhythm Ride took a few weeks to respond this time, replying on August 12th and writing, "Being condescending like Christina is pretty obnoxious, so we will take this super slow for you since you support her methodology of putting people down."
Wow.
The internet is forever. You need to remember that. If people can
you
hear
me
you
now?
now.
Yeah, now we can hear you.
So I want to thank Mia for mentioning what Dumbo was, but there's a slight correction. Dumbo is down on the Manhattan Bridge overpass, not Brooklyn. The B is for bridge because there's Manhattan Bridge. Once you cross into Brooklyn, there's an area near the where the bridge meets into Brooklyn. It's a hot area for hipsters and millennials, and it's very, very real estate that's very, very expensive. But it's down under Manhattan Bridge overpass.
Thank you very much for
You're welcome.
telling me where Dumbo is, and I'll make sure to maybe they have gumbo in Dumbo. Being kind of so anyway, they also mocked her for not being able to figure out how to unsubscribe from the email list. Then, for some reason, quoted Seinfeld's soup Nazi.
I love the soup Nazi.
As Seinfeld soup Nazi said, "No soup for you. You are way too negative." Later, Rhythm Ride or RR. Finally, we come to August 16th when Rachel L. So there's a pattern. Finally, we come to August 16th when Rachel L. also left a 1-star review, this time calling the class average and the instructor really arrogant. Once again, Rhythm Ride with a Y replied writing, "Thank you for the review. Although it was well written and thought out, it doesn't mean you are correct or accurate. It is an opinion. With that said, why can't we review you back? Why is it fair for you or anyone else to write a review without comment? You can dish it out, but can't take it. Pretty entitled? No? They also dismissed the entire reviewing platform.
Ryan, seriously, can you take this one? I'm going to explode on this one.
I'm shocked, but I love it. I think I would go to their class just because, I think brand narratives.
You don't even have to go to the class. You can just review on them. I want to go on Yelp and just review them. I'm in North Carolina. I can't wait to see what the review would be that I would get back.
If this is what they want to do, and if it's working for them, me being in marketing, do it. Continue to do it. I think that if it's bringing you publicity and people are talking about your classes, and keep it up. But I think that when you look at the numbers and you look at customer retention, there's a very if you're looking for investors, for example, investors would look for the churn rate. Like how often do you churn through your clientele? And a lot of people are not measuring just those basic things, how they're not measuring how they're servicing their customers and how they're keeping their customers. So it looks like this is they're kind of doing their own thing. It doesn't seem like this is something that they planned. But I would definitely look at the numbers and see if it's affecting their business, because if it is,
I'm sure it is.
Well, no, Brian, you hit almost, I think, like right on it, and it goes to the old adage, like any publicity is good publicity. Now, I personally don't necessarily subscribe to that, but I would say this though. I think you've got a really good point with this. Of look, if their whole point is to just make a lot of noise for people to come down and to see how awful this place is, and then they're going to get there and they're going to see that it's probably not as awful as this one review is, but it's also probably not as great as they're claiming. I mean, let's be honest, in the real world, right?
Right.
Maybe they're fine. Maybe it's just like, hey, we're just trying to get people to just look at us and get some more views and get some more people in. But I mean, is that, everybody's business is a little different, but I wouldn't think, like, I would not want to treat anybody, because they're taking it from a business to a personal, like, well, we can't review you. Now, if they're really being honest, I think that's, I don't think that's a good way to handle themselves, to be honest.
I think if I go a little bit further into the article, and I'm not going to, because I do have two more things that I want to get to eventually, before we tie this up, because we've been going really well. So I want to offer my appreciation to everybody, and you can write your review in the comments down below, and I promise I will respond. They've also, Rhythm Line has also responded to the positive reviews, in which they invoke a 50 Cent lyrics and quote movie swingers and the character Elsa from Frozen and all these different types of things. I think that there's a problem when it comes to, like we were talking about with Fake Spot and fake reviews. Hashtag fake reviews is going to be in this episode, I think. Is this really what, did these people really experience this? But more importantly, was this the appropriate response? I think it's a learning curve. I mean, when I first read about this, I was like, what is this person, 5? And they're responding and it's like they're standing in the corner with their arms folded, holding their breath, hoping you're going to change your mind. Well, keep doing that. That won't work. I found it increasingly funny that this was just how they decided that I almost thought this was like, did you get your business lessons from Trump? I mean, that's exactly the kind of mentality I was seeing out of this. It was like, well, if you're going to attack me, I'm going to attack you back, and everything. But you know what? Guess who's in the freaking White House? Hate it or not, he's an idiot. He's made himself look like a moron. He continues to make himself look like a moron. But who's sitting in the freaking White House? And who's still on the sidelines belly aching?
What about the do you guys watch Conan O'Brien?
I do not.
Coco?
He has red
Everyone's
hair and
I
people
know
with
of it.
red hair.
There was one episode where I think the dog, what's that dog? The insult dog.
Triumph
Went on he went on a field trip to a place. I don't know where it was, but it was like a burger truck, and all they do is insult their customers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are a few businesses that are like that are like packed because that's all they do is they insult their customers. But you know,
there is a place down in Myrtle Beach, and there's several places like this. I agree with Ryan, but I remember back in the 80s, this was a novelty, and it was called Dick's.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at Myrtle Beach. It was at Barton's Landing, I think. It may still be there. Anyway, you were paying to get insulted because they would insult you.
Mm-hmm. And not like your hair looks stupid.
They weren't outright, mean and ugly of that. But I mean, they were. I mean, it's not. Oh well, sure, I can get that. Oh my Lord, some of the reactions from people in there who didn't know what to expect was genuinely funny. So these places have been around for a long time, but I don't think maybe these people were paid for their fake reviews. There's the devil's advocate, Jonathan Tripp. Donna, I see that you've joined us. What you need to do is up at the top, you need to click on the webcam icon and the microphone icon. I need to remember to pop that video in at the beginning when people
can't
watch.
hear you.
Hi, Donna. We can't hear you yet.
No.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Welcome, Donna. So weigh in, Donna, on us real quick with fake review with Rhythm Ride with a Y.
As a travel agent, I mean, this started. I have a story to tell in a moment, but this whole stuff with TripAdvisor started. I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, right? And everyone thought that they were Siskel and Ebert of hotels, all right? And they'd never traveled before. And you'd get these reviews, and you still do. You can kind of see who's never traveled before to Europe, thinking that they're going to get this, 900 square foot hotel room, because, and hotels in Europe are like little closets, but they're
tiny.
But the hotels do pay each other to write, reviews for each other and write reviews against other hotels. And it's really well known that happens. And the same thing with the restaurant business, Yep. But I mean, we used to have a system years ago called the I have it back. I still have the book here. It was a book that you would buy, and it was like $300 a year for this book, right? And it was kind of like the Siskel and Ebert of hotel reviews. And I mean, some of them were funny.
I love how Donna keeps referencing Siskel and Ebert just because they were famous reviewers, but they were horrible reviewers.
I loved them. But I mean, I wouldn't listen to. But I it was just that they just had really good reviews or really bad reviews, and they were really honest reviews and professional reviews. And you're not getting that with TripAdvisor. You're getting these people.
You're not getting that with most everything that you see reviews at. Now, every once in a while, you will get somebody that genuinely is reviewing. I've done genuine reviews. I've never done a hateful review, I don't think.
Oh, well, I got a hateful review, and this is what I was going to tell you. 2015, I was watching the Today Show, and they were doing this thing on renting puppies for parties. Okay, I think Terry knows this story. You know this story.
Yep.
And it was a place in New York that they were renting puppies for parties, and I had just done an expose like in 2011 where puppies come from in pet stores in New York. And they all, not 100% of them, 90% of them come from puppy mills. Mm-hmm. So I did I found out the name of this company that the Today Show was talking about. I did some research, this is in 2015, and found out that some of the puppies that they had purchased had come from puppy mills, and there were violations. So I went on to their website. And if anybody knows, do you guys know what a puppy mill is?
Yep, place that churns out puppies.
Yeah, they just churn out puppies. They don't care about
And it's
the
not a
conditions
nice
of the
place.
puppies. And so I went onto their website and I put a 1-star review and I said, you all need to know, whoever's coming here, where these dogs are coming from. They come from puppy mills. And there was somebody else who did the same thing. 2 years later, they come to my Green Earth Travel business website and they give me a 1-star, and they tell me that that my employer, which is me, should know that I go onto people's Facebook pages and give them 1 stars when I've never even used their business before. Meanwhile, I mean, I have proof that this business has done this. So I went on, there was 2 people. One person didn't say anything, but I looked her up and I saw the connection. And then I found out that they also gave this other animal shelter or organization a 1-star because one of their volunteers, who's not associated with them other than being a volunteer, gave a 1-star review.
That totally sounds fair, Donna. I don't see any problems with this at all. I see no problems with revenge reviews.
Is there a way to put remember that that service you were just speaking about that kind of verifies the fake reviews? Can they do that for Instagram comments? Because
I don't know. I haven't done that. It's called Fake Spot, and again, all the links for the stories and everything I'll put into the description of this after it's done, and it'll be up on YouTube in the description of that as well. I'm going to offer 15 seconds to everybody, and then we're going to move on from here. That's enough about Rhythm Ride with the Y. But thank you very much, Donna, for your insight with that. Again, it's great how it's worked together, and people have come in conjunction with everything we've been talking about today. What do you think, Jonathan? 15 seconds.
It's kismet.
Well, I go first?
Yeah, you go first this time, just because
okay.
I go first.
Your opinion.
I go first. Okay.
So much.
So 15 seconds, and I've already wasted 12 of them. Wait, are we talking about this story or just final thoughts of the day, or what do we do?
No, I have 2 more stories that I'm going to go through. These 2 stories are going to round out and end.
Puppy mills are bad. Okay,
puppy mills are bad.
Revenge reviews are they're for heathens, and use emojis responsibly, everybody.
Brian?
I say if it's working for you, keep on doing it. No company does things that doesn't work. So you keep on repeating it until it doesn't work for you anymore and change.
Terry?
I'll say running a business is survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
That it is.
If you do things like these guys are doing, you're not going to be in business.
Or are you?
Again. Are you even in business?
Again, who's in the White House?
That's right.
That's all I got to say.
It's only temporary.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's still 4 years of temporary.
It might not be around in 4 years. It might not be.
And all that, yeah.
We're not.
You have this much time left.
It's enough it's a point that enough of the country sat there and said, would it really be so bad? And now we're finding out. So. Anyway, Donna, your 15 seconds.
Well, on a good note, I learned from one of Terry's and my friend to ask your friends for reviews when things like this happen. And I got 20 people reviewing good stars on my Facebook. So
there you go.
Ask your friends to review you, even though they
friends give good friend reviews.
Good friend reviews.
They better.
And with that, thank you very much for everybody that provided those inputs. Let's go on to the next story. I don't know if I should read the title or if I just should start reading.
Terry,
you know what? I'm just going to read the story. And if you want to.
I got to pop out. It's 12 o'clock. I got to go. Thank you.
I want to make sure I say,
thanks for showing up.
You have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend.
And now we're down to 4. A Tennessee man has been arrested for selling farts in a jar without a vending license.
Apparently,
He wasn't arrested for selling the farts in the jar. He was arrested for selling the farts in the jar without a vending license. Unfortunately, this is fake news. There is no truth to the report that the man was arrested for having sold without a license for farts in the jars. Rather, the news originated with a satirical news website, and I won't repeat that here, published the article reporting that the Tennessee man had been arrested for selling farts in jars without a vending license. I'm bringing this up for a couple of reasons. One, it's really, really funny. You should see the picture of the guy. It's like Jabba the Hutt met Jabba the Hutt. Anyway, this story was circulating on Facebook and Twitter, at least in my feeds. Just tells you who I'm friends with. So everybody that keeps trying to be friends with me, be careful. Because when you post this fake stuff, it's really funny. Anyway, it was just circling around, and I thought it was really funny, and that there are sites out there like Snopes that will sniff out, for lack of a better word, fake news. But moving on from that story, I know I had Jonathan go on with that one because I gave him that story earlier this week. Moving on from there, a story went viral this week of a Colorado Springs mystery jogger nicknamed the Mad Pooper.
Oh, yeah.
Taking large poos in front of the same house for weeks. Folks, this is not fake news. The cops have been on her tail, to discern her identity, and now to avoid feces to fire, the toilet paper company Charmin has hopped on board to provide the pooper incentive to reveal herself. This is an actual tweet. If the Mad Pooper, and there's a screen grab of her from a video camera apparently. If the Mad Pooper turns herself in, we'll give her a year's supply of TP to help her with the runs. Hashtag enjoy the gossiperly blah 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 blah. Anyway, there's a poop emoji. Kathy Bud, the mother of the family who lives in the targeted house, initially reported the woman to the cops after her children caught the jogger in the act. Photos were snapped by the family and posted publicly to try and track her down. The story quickly blew up on social media, with poop puns littering the internet. Colorado Springs, remember, it is your civic duty, I love it, to help bring an end to this perpetrator. Oh, let's move on from these because you can go, and I'll put this link in there. The El Paso, I want to round it out, the El Paso County Sheriff's Department, this is in Texas, even posted a photo to Facebook of an officer holding a pooper scooper offering to send backup. Jokes aside, a spokesperson with the department says they are taking the issue seriously as the jogger may have a mental health issue. There's another story that doesn't have as many of these in here. It's about the exact same thing. And it goes on to say that it's been happening for weeks, that the woman has actually gone out and confronted the individual, like seriously, is what she said. And the lady was like, I yes. And that's it. Same spot and everything. And the woman's like, there's public restrooms a few blocks before you get to our house. Having a poopless lawn apparently is not one of the bread rights with that. And I felt, what better way to end this particular episode of Ask Chat Podcast? Has absolutely nothing to do with business, except for Charmin, who's going to give her the business if they give her the business. Donna, aren't you glad you popped in for this one?
Well, I, as an ex-runner, I'm not an ex-runner yet. I'm hoping to get, I know that there are stomach issues that happen, but, and I would always get them at around the 2 mile spot, but I was always kind of, this is TMI, but, I was just kind of cautious. I would find a wooded area or something. I wouldn't go in somebody's yard. I don't understand. I mean, I'm lost for words, and that's hard to do right now because that's, I get that she has a stomach problem, but that's not in a yard. That's just weird. What can I say?
Brian, how about you?
Nothing.
What do you have to say? Want to weigh in on the subject?
Yeah, well, I don't even know what to say. That it's just disgusting. But I mean, if you gotta poop, you gotta poop. But
No, not there though.
but it's great fertilizer. No, it's good for the garden. You know, maybe she could poop in the garden. You know, so you could grow some chives or whatever. But I honestly like. You ought to know better. In this day and age where in this day and age where everyone has a camera phone, I got a ring doorbell. Like I get notified when people are even in the city of my home, and then it records. So you know, people. I don't know. I always think that people are smart. You know, and they would consider, you know, all the variables before they do things like that, but, you know, apparently not.
Jonathan, would you like to leave your mark on this?
I go there? You know what? You know what I say?
And he's had days to prepare.
I think what she needs to do is, I think Depends needs to come in and give her a year's worth of Depends so she can go running.
Well,
yeah.
Hey, Sherman's helping her.
Charmin
out.
doesn't do it. That doesn't do it. That's littering even more. She needs some Depends.
She needs something. I just.
David, I have had the problem is I've had days to prep for this moment right here. I've had days. He sent this article to me, just being like, "Heads up." I knew this was coming. Part of me was hoping that it wouldn't, but it was still coming. Are you serious? Like, are you serious? I mean, some of our conversations today been right on. I think they're important discussions to have. And then we have a lady jogger, and I'm assuming that all the facts are correct, and we're having a lady jogger coming in and pooping in somebody's yard again and again and again. Maybe she's mad about like a 1-star review somewhere. I mean, has anybody put that connection together? Has anybody thought that maybe this is because someone left a 1-star review on her website or something like that
From that household?
Right. Come on. I mean, I think this goes way deeper. And as you know, and all kidding aside, but like, guys,
see, Mia. Look, if you look in the comments, because Mia lives in Colorado, she knows what I'm talking about. That's why I when I first saw this article, I was like, oh my god, there's no way that's got to be.
Do you want to get Mia's point on this? I know we're wrapping up, but do you want to get her point on this?
Take me out.
No, I can have up to 6 people on camera. I don't have to.
We can have up to 6. That's not a problem here.
Mia, if you want to message me your email address, then I'll send you the link and you can hop in real quick if you want.
No, I mean, I get the stomach problem, but it's so weird that it's right at the same house in the same yard, and she doesn't. I mean, she should have the decency to pick it up.
She's obviously eating her brand to keep her regular.
Right. I mean, this is
Kelloggs.
I mean,
wait, it's Kellogg's. It's the Kellogg's thing.
I was going to say, she's got more dedication and commitment than the Colonel Pop Corn Pop designer guy and his deliberate tan color usage. I don't know. Like he's I mean, this is right on. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's got to be something different. This is not just accidental. She's
eating regular, and it sounds like she's vegan because, like,
wait a minute. Don't get...
You know what's funny is that the both of you now, Ryan, are you vegan or are you vegetarian now?
Vegan.
Oh, you are.
Yeah.
High five, dude.
3 months, and it's been great.
I've been vegan for 30-something years.
Robert in the comments is asking if he can get a restraining order. I don't know what type of restraining. She needs some restraint.
Yeah.
She needs some restraining order for that. Mark in
Podium
AD
is what she needs. That's what she needs.
Guard dog.
J.S. Gilbert is saying one of her poops looked like the Virgin Mary, and now people are coming there into those.
Yeah, she needs.
Thank you, JS, for that.
She needs Imodium. Is it Imodium AD? Is that what it is? And
Yep.
She needs something.
Okay.
He needs some Depends, and she'll be set.
Mia tapped the icons up at the top.
This is the closing article. This is the because I'm almost out of coffee here, and I know Mia just needs to turn the mic and that on. This is epic.
Uh-oh, she froze.
How about now?
That's that Colorado internet. It's full of crap.
It's been smoking.
Apparently, we know where it's coming from.
Can you see me now?
Yeah.
We can see you and we can hear you.
Did you see my comment? She apparently left her own version of the 1-star review.
I did.
Oh, that's so nice.
You should do that on Rhythm Rides lawn, you know.
Anna says in the comments that regularity doesn't sound like a problem, and I could agree. Regularity is not the problem. She's very regular, and she does need some restraint.
It literally did feel like every time you'd hear the story, you're like, is this real? Like you'd look for the onion, right? Mm-hmm. Really? And I don't know. I think in general, women are just sort of shy about that anyway, more than men. I can't imagine just running around dropping bombs.
Right.
Dropping bombs.
Terrorizing people.
Right.
I think that's
and
something that Mia on the go should add to the whole process. I guarantee that you would have a tremendous response. No.
Maybe I should just start doing Instagram stories of my beagle pooping.
It's just emojis everywhere.
Yeah. Here's Maggie pooping again. The next episode of Me on the Go, her dog has to go.
So is this really the talk of the town?
Oh no, it's Me on the Go. It's definitely Me on the Go. That Nissan Murano and Me on the Go.
Nissan Titan, right?
All of a sudden, yeah, Nissan Titan.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden now everything that Me on the Go gets, one of the requirements is that it has a trailer hitch in order for her to be able to pull around a Johnny house.
Oh my God, the irony of that. I'm so afraid of porta potties. They scare me. Yes.
Do you camp?
Oh, not a bit.
And you're out in Colorado. Wow.
Although I will say we did the glamping in the covered wagon a couple weeks ago. And they did a covered wagon.
Oh,
you didn't see that?
You said glamping.
It was glamping.
Glamping.
Especially when you have your own little chef drop off your food on your
Oh, that's cool.
It was the shed.
Glamping.
That is glamping.
Yeah.
And the porta potty, I will say, the only reason why the porta potty works is because it was our own porta potty. Do you know what I mean? Like nobody else was around, so it wasn't like some kind of festival porta potty. You knew whatever happened in there was you, not anybody else.
Yeah,
so.
I brought.
Are we really talking about this?
I brought.
Yes.
Happy Friday, folks. Happy Friday.
It's all about farting and pooping. It's all about that.
If you are just tuning in, then what I suggest you do is catch the replay and watch the beginning portion where we did not end it in this manner with such a fecal matter.
It should be hashtag pull your finger.
Hashtag pull my finger. So
I'm just doing anything to get Ryan and Jonathan to laugh because you can tell. Like I'm just watching to see if they laugh. David, you're a given. Jonathan, given.
I'm a given. So with that being said, and to bottom out of the segment, folks, if at all possible, find a public restroom. Don't poop in my lawn. And
well, if you do, pick it up.
And take some doggy bags. They're available at Dollar General and Dollar Tree. Those stores are rampant everywhere in the country. I'm sure some kind of Family Dollar or something like that. They're really cheap. So, just be cautious. It's okay. We all understand. Every time, everybody has to go.
There's a book called that, right?
Absolutely. Everybody's got to go.
Everybody poops.
Everybody poops. So with that being said, and this has yet been another brand new format for the Asschat podcast, I want to thank everybody first off.
Literally an Asschat. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was so appropriate for this. We want to make sure that your business doesn't always give the end of the business. Thank you, Terry, for joining us, Ryan for joining us, Donna for joining us, Mia for joining us. I'm going to give those remaining on camera 15 seconds to let us know what they're doing. If there's anywhere that they want to go, they're more than welcome to drop a link in the chat. If you're watching the replay, you can catch us live on Fridays. We come on around 10:45-ish and Eastern, because that's the only time zone that's out there. All the rest of them are just fake. Mia, I'm going to start with you since you were the last one to come in at the bottom of the hour.
You're relentless. Just brutal. Live large, have fun, and it's never too early to drink. How's that?
Do your CBD.
And take your CBD. Oh, I have my little CBD vape pen. Look at that. How fancy.
Oh, I need to talk to you.
Yes, you do. No THC, or I would be in the corner sucking my thumb. That's all I have to say about Sam. It's not good. Have a good weekend. That's all I got.
Donna, how about you?
Bring your Depends. Bring your Depends and your, no, I mean, you got to be smarter than that and learn from your mistakes, right? That's it.
You do. Ryan,
you
where
guys
can people find you? Give us any party knowledge.
Well, I just launched the Hustle Zone TV. It's a living documentary of entrepreneurs telling their stories. So you can check us out at hustlezone.tv. It's in beta. Some of the links are not working on mobile, but we do encourage you to check it out and leave some, leave a message. Let me know if there's a broken link, or leave a negative or positive or fake review. I'd appreciate it.
And with that being said, I'm going to drop each one of you off camera one at a time. Mia Voss, thank you very much for coming in. Donna, thank you very much for coming in. And Ryan, thanks a lot for coming in. Have a good one. I'm just left with you.
This is where it started.
Yeah.
Although at a much better point in the show. I left a fake review. No, I'm sorry. I left a real review in the comments for everybody about this podcast today. I encourage you to scroll back down through it and give it some love. Give it a little thumbs up, or if you thought it was an honest review, thumbs up. If you thought it was a bad review, just thumb down. In the same vein, I'm starting. I'm asking for YouTube subscribers now too. Lots of them, all of them. I don't care if you're real or fake. I really don't. I just want people. I want numbers. I'm just looking for just sheer volume of subscribers. And I did put that put that also that link in the comments section.
I see that.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that people just. Yeah, please mark that as spam too, if you would. I'd appreciate that.
I will.
Yeah, but David, this was a fun show. I like it. So this is fun. We had a bunch of people coming in.
We did
and watching. So this
is
a good Friday. I'm out of coffee. Well, almost out of coffee.
We've been going for an hour and 40 minutes according to the timer. So, of course, the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes of that was videos, or one was a video and then the other one didn't want to play as video. We'll get those bugs worked out. You're not paying me anyway, but hey, this show is looking for sponsors. If you would like to sponsor this show, just reach out to me and let me know, and I will make sure you understand exactly what this show is about, so that you don't feel offended. I don't get any negative reviews and have to bash you back, and I certainly don't want you pooping on my lawn. That being said, I'm David Vaughan. This is Jonathan Tripp, somewhere over here. Anyway, thanks a lot for being here. Tune in on Fridays. Come find us again. And if there's something else you find funny and you want us to review about it, send it on over. Bye.